Right, welcome to part 2, grade 10s. So this is part 2 on how to go about answering the literary essay that you've been given. So please write this document in your books. Only the black. You don't write the red, only the black writing you write. Okay, so I'm going to go through it with you. The rules of a literary essay. So these rules are rules that you will consign to from now until you matriculate. They will be the same rules that you will use throughout. Okay, so please pay attention. You need, in your introduction, restate the topic and indicate the type of argument you will develop. I will go into this a little bit better when I go through the proposed structure. Okay, so when I go through it here, I'll go through your introduction, body, and conclusion on what my suggestions are. Your conclusion, you need to round off your essay in a strong statement. Do not merely restate the topic. You need to reword the topic and add in one idea from each body paragraph. 2. Back up your keywords with accurate reference and quotations. 3. Use connectors such as although, however, thus, and therefore. 4. Keep the style formal. Do not use colloquialism or slang. Colloquialism is accepted slang, so that's like where we say braai and America would say barbecue. So that's what they refer to when they refer to colloquialism. And then slang is obviously slang. Do not use contractions such as can't, could have, isn't, his, and so on and so forth. You need to sort of write these words out in full. Instead of can't, write cannot. This shows more academic accuracy when writing. Do not use personal pronouns such as I or we. Always write in the third person. So you'd use one, it, her, or he. 6. Use the present tense in all its forms. So, for instance, the happenings of the book happen in the present tense. When Romeo and Juliet die, they die in the book in the present tense. So therefore we speak in the present tense always. Don't say Romeo killed himself. You would say Romeo kills himself. Okay, and then 7, do not use questions as your sentences. So although rhetoric questions do have a purpose in writing, in academic writing we do not use rhetorical questions. We do not want to the reader's thoughts on the matter. We rather would like to focus on what your thoughts are on the matter. So looking at sort of what you want to get out of like this essay. So what are your thoughts on the topic? So you don't include questions in your sentences. You need to avoid lengthy quotations. If the majority of your essay is Shakespeare's words, who am I giving marks to? You understand? So please do not put in lengthy quotations. Just put in a short, even if it's one word, to sort of substantiate what you are saying. So my proposed structure toward the essay that you've been given is as follows. And these are the key elements that I took out of the question. I took out fear, evil star-crosses, lovers, not in the sky, no human heart. You may take out your own elements. These are just mine that I would like to focus on. Then you need to agree or say what you don't agree with and what you agree more with in what Goddard has said in regards to whether it is fear or fate that is responsible for the tragedy. Then in a mind map, you would list, if I had to get a mind map, I would list points of the tragedies that happen within the play and state or evaluate whether these tragic events were brought about through either fear or fate, and that would sort of lead toward my argument either for what Goddard is saying or against it. Right, and then, so this is my proposed guide and on how to do an introduction. So again, don't write the red, only write the black. The red is my example. So for an introduction, we use the acronym or abbreviation SRSE. Okay, and that's to summarize the plainer sentence, reword the question, and make your stance evident as well as use examples to support yourself. So in my example of an introduction, it would be Romeo and Juliet, written by the playwright William Shakespeare, is a play about two lovers who are destined to meet and find misfortune because of this meeting. Goddard infers, however, that it is instead fear that leads to the tragedy of the play and not an evil fated star. However, in the play, William Shakespeare makes it evident that the tragic meeting and consequences of these lovers meeting convey how one is powerless to the workings of one's fated destiny. For example, and then you'll add your examples in. I'm not going to give you examples because I'm not going to give you answers to the essay question. So here in the first sentence, I have summarized the play. And then in the second one, I've reworded or referred to what the question is talking about. And I've made my stance evident here on how I am either for this or against this, and to what degree I'm for it. And then I've used the examples you would use to support yourself, you'd put here. For a body paragraph, I used Teal, and that's each paragraph should follow the topic. It should have a topic sentence, an example, evidence, and a link-in sentence. Now, a topic sentence is the theme of the paragraph. Each paragraph should have its own theme. Okay, you can't be talking about two things in the same paragraph. And an example, you need to also, with your examples that you add in for this, you need to always try and refer back to the question, as it will make it evident on how you are trying to answer this question. Sometimes you find learners just simply state a lot of examples for one theme, and they don't really reflect back to the question, and it becomes vague as to how they are trying to answer this question. So just try and refer back to the question when you can. Provide evidence for everything you say always. And a linking sentence is basically a sentence at the end that links or hints at the next paragraph's theme. I'll show you with mine. And this allows your essay to have a more coherent and logical flow. Okay, so this is my example of a body paragraph. Balthazar acts as an agent of fate and informs Romeo of Juliet's death before Romeo receives Friar Lawrence's message about the truth of Juliet's unconscious state. In Act 5, Friar Lawrence sends a message to Romeo explaining. So basically in the first sentence here, it's my topic, right? It's my theme. So now I carry on here, basically not restating it, but re-explaining what I imply. Right, so this first sentence here will have basically what I'm going to speak about, my main theme of this paragraph. And then I'll go on to evaluate or unpack that topic. So in Act 5, Friar Lawrence sends a message to Romeo explaining that Juliet has been put into an unconscious state with a potion he has made. Please note that I'm putting these single inverted commas, not because I'm quoting from the play, but because I am hinting at the fact that it is an unconscious state, which is neither in the conscious nor death. So it's this temporal place that she's been placed in which she's not dead, but basically she's still of this world, but not in this world, if you understand. Right, so what I mean here is why I've put a single inverted comma is because I want to show it as sort of referring to the play on words that ends up being these lovers' death. So the pun is that because she is unconscious and unable to reach her lover who is just next to her, she ends up being in a truly unconscious state of death. Right? So you don't have to always do this. It depends on your skill in writing. If you can do this, then play around with it. If not, just ignore what I've done here with the single inverted commas and just leave them out. Okay, so in Act 5, Friar Lawrence sends a message to Romeo explaining that Juliet has been put into an unconscious state with a potion he has made. However, this message finds him too late, as Balthazar intervenes. This then leads into the tragic ending where both lovers take their life, as Romeo is unable to live without Juliet, whom he sees as his heaven. So again, this quotation marks here show that this is indeed a quotation from the play. So Romeo, earlier on, before this scene, refers to Juliet as his heaven. When Friar Lawrence tells him that he has been sort of banished and he won't be killed, he feels like he has been killed. For Juliet is his heaven, and without her he will live in hell. So I have chosen heaven here to sort of solidify that imagery of this fate, or this third force that exists within this play, like an undercurrent of a third party that's always interfering with our lovers' futures. Okay, so that's why I've chosen heaven. It would hint at that. So you could grasp at quotes like this that sort of subconsciously so just subconsciously builds on this, right? And then moving on to here, the audience is exposed to yet another inescapable event in their lovers' lives, which edifies the fact that fate is responsible for the events in the play and not mere fear. Okay, so here again I've referred back to the question. Another way fear is not a leading agent in the happenings of the play is seen in how, and then you would add in the next paragraph's theme. Okay, so that's how I would link to the next paragraph. Conclusion wise, here you're just summing up. There should be no new information registered here or recorded here. So reword the question and have a message point or why you've taken your stance. So that's R, M, or P, or S. So what I've done is I said fate rather than fear, as per Goddard's viewpoint, does indeed play a more significant role in the play because of the new list of examples, and which then conveys how Shakespeare is trying to use this story as, and then you put your message. Okay, so that's just an example. You may use it or you may change it a bit as you please, right? So my group, you need to have this done by Monday. Miss Polinka's group, you'll just check with her on what she said and you'll follow that. Right, so I hope that this was helpful. You can provide feedback to me through email is best, because then I can respond better. But if not, we can always just use the WhatsApp group chat as well. So you can decide. So let me know if you have any questions regarding that, and I'll try and answer it as best I can. Right. So I look forward to seeing you on Monday. Enjoy the rest of your time off that you've had. So yeah.